Hello everyone, welcome to the DaVinci Resolve and Fusion tutorial. If you've been thinking about switching to Resolve from After Effects or just getting started with it, this can be a good introduction for you. We will cover how to import your sequence, how to set up your color space, which is assets in our case, how to do basic compositing and export your video. I will be using the free version of Resolve, so you can go to the official website of Resolve and download the DaVinci Resolve newest version. Before we move on, I want to thank all my patrons, and I really appreciate to everyone's support. If you want to access Patreon exclusive tutorials, for example how to create this transition effect and the reveal of the shoe, I will leave the link under this video. So once you have it installed, let's go ahead and run our DaVinci. And you should see something like this. This is your project manager. This is where you will make new projects. You can organize by folders or just create it here. You can double click on this untitled project or just right click and make a new project. And I will name it Patreon Resolve and our tutorial number. Click create. And as you can see, by default, Resolve takes us to the cut section of the software. It's supposed to be better fit for fast or quick edits, but I prefer to work in the edit section. So let's click and move to the edit section. And here you can see it's your regular timeline. And right now let's import our sequence. I will go to our render folder and just drag and drop into our media pool. And if you hover over our thumbnail and play, it will show us a quick preview. If you need to adjust any settings regarding your sequence individually, you can right click and go to clip attributes and make sure if the settings you want to import with are correct. For example, the frames per second. For me it's 24, so I will just click OK and drag and drop the sequence into your timeline and let go. On the right where it says inspector, this is where our parameters are. You have basic parameters like zoom in, position, and any other settings we will be always here. If you click to the names of the tabs, it will toggle on and off those tabs. Let's move to the Fusion tab where we will spend our most time. To move, you can just click to the Fusion tab, or you can right click on the individual clip and open in Fusion. Let's play our timeline and we see the same just with alpha. To disable and enable alpha, we have these three dots on top. Let's click, and to disable it, click check underlay. I know it's a strange way to call alpha, but I guess that's what Resolve wanted to call. Let's start by adding nodes to our graph editor. So to add any node, we need to hit the Ctrl and Space shortcut. And here where we can search for any node. For example, CC will be your color corrector. And if you hit enter, it will drop down where your mouse was. And unfortunately, if we bring it here, it will not automatically connect like in Houdini. We need to hold the shift. And you can see this line becomes blue and yellow. And once you see that color, we can let go and it will connect to our line. The same way we can remove it by holding shift and just move it out. And how to display individual nodes. One way is to drag and drop to our timeline. And you can see the one that is currently being displayed. It shows white dot. And you can see it displays the right dot because we have two displays. If you drag and drop it here, you can see the same is being viewed on a second viewport. And now we have both dots lit up. To maximize or solo our any of our views, you can click on those window icons. So I will do it on the right one. Even though we have both dots lit up, it will show only on one viewer. So let's make sure our color corrector is being viewed and let's try to make some changes. For example, let's add some contrast. Let's switch our nodes to notice how it works. And this media out works exactly like output works in Houdini. Doesn't matter which node is being viewed. If you go to our timeline, it will always display the last node because we have our media out. And if you don't like this drag and drop method, you can use keys 1 or 2 to display your nodes. I will quickly enable back this double viewer. So 1 will add on your left viewer and the 2 will add on your right viewer. Let's delete our color corrector And let's start setting our color space. There are a couple ways to set up the ACEs. One way is to do it globally, File, Project Settings, and in the Color Management tab. You can go and put ACEs CC, but personally I don't use this. I don't set up it globally, and I prefer to do it in the Fusion per shot. I suggest you try both, see what works better for your workflow, but I will go with a method inside of the Fusion. And for that, you need to download the Ocho configuration. So I already have downloaded 1.2 into my documents folder, and we need to tell DaVinci Resolve to look for this config file. Now there is 2 steps to it. First one, we need to enable the Ocho for our viewer, and second one will be just before our media out to convert everything into ACEs. And good part is we will be doing it once and we will set up as default, so we don't have to do it every single time. So let's go to our top right. We see this grid. Let's click to enable it. Let's open this drop down and choose color space Ocho. And right now you see it's changed for me because I already set it by default. And now let's go and edit. And here where we need to point to our Ocho config. After you do it, choose your color space ACSCG and the output either Rec 709 or sRGB. And once you set, right click on this Ocho color space, go to the settings and save default. Right now, every time you enable and select the color space, it will load your Ocho from your disk. So this is the step 1. In the Fusion, it shows everything correctly, but since we didn't convert yet, if you go back to our timeline, you can see it still shows our wrong color space. So right now, let's add a Ocho color space. Let's drag and drop to view, and exactly the same we need to do it here. Again, load our config file, ACSCG, Rec 709 or sRGB. And the same here. Right click, settings, save default. All right, now if you delete and make a new one, Ocho color space, you can see it's already adding the correct values. And one important note, we will be not viewing this. We will be viewing anything before this, because if we drag and drop this and we have our LUT enabled, basically we are viewing double Ocho. So we will be viewing anything before our Ocho convert node. And now let's go back to our edit section and see if our color space is correct. And yeah, right now we have our correct color space. Okay, so difficult settings are done. Now let's go ahead and do our compositing, which is more fun. Let's go back to our Fusion. There are a couple of ways to go about extracting your render passes. For example, there are scripts to extract your render passes automatically, but I prefer to do it manually from this layer section. At first it might seem a bit slow, but it's very useful when you have a multi-shot project. That's one of my favorite features of Resolve, which I will show you very shortly. So let's select our media and copy somewhere. Let's drag and drop to view it, and let's switch it to light rim. Now we have our rim light. I will copy one more time and do it top. And I will do the same for the emission and for the subsurface. And if you right click and rename or hit F2, you can rename your passes. I will write SSS. This was our emission. I'll make our space a bit bigger. And to connect this to our timeline, since we are not building from scratch, the best way to use it is the Boolean node. So let's search and write channel Boolean. And we need 2 for each node. So I will copy this, make a 2 of it. First one is to subtract, and second one is to be in additive mode. So let's select add. Now let's drag and drop into our first one and second one to connect. And if we display our channel Boolean, It's actually nothing should happen because we are keeping it neutral by first subtracting, then adding. And all the changes will happen on the additive side. For example, let's go ahead and add color correction. Let's connect to our additive side. Make sure your channel boolean is being viewed. And let's make some changes to our rim light. And basically that's how you manipulate your AOVs. Right now, let's make the same for our other AOVs. So I will copy these two, hold shift to connect. I will paste again, hold shift again. Oops. Make a bit space and do one more last time. I don't know if it connect. Yes, it did connect. Let's now connect our other passes. And we are basically done with our setup. Let's make sure we are viewing our last channel boolean, which is just before our Ocho color space. Let's go to our color corrector and hit this round icon to reset our settings. And let's start doing some changes to our compositing. We have a rim light, but it's not much visible. So let's go ahead and make it stronger by adding more gain. And I will give it a bit of bluish tint. Now I will add another color corrector on our subsurface. And let's try to adjust that, maybe a bit more contrast. If you want to toggle the effect you see before and after, you can toggle it here or hit Ctrl P. I think it's good. Let's add another color corrector on our top light. Also make some changes here. Let's go back to our subsurface and try to maybe add slightly more. Yeah, something like this. It's a bit over bright, yes, so I think we cranked our subsurface too much. So I will bring it to default and try to set it once more. Yeah, I think this is better. Now let's bring our double view by clicking this. And let's drag and drop our original media into the second one. Let's again disable the alpha, and we need to enable the color space also for our new viewer. So let's enable the grid and select Ocho color space. And it will help us to see before and after. Now let's try to add a nice dark blue background. So to add a background, we need to add actually node called background. By default, it gives us a solid color, similar to the solid in After Effects. So let's switch to the gradient. And now we need to merge it into our tree. So to merge two nodes together, you need to drag and drop one output to the other nodes. And if you enable, you will see now we merged the shoe over our background. If you do the opposite, it will do the vice versa. Background over shoe or the shoe over the background. Now let's connect merge back to our tree and we have our gradient. I want to have impression that light is coming from below of the shoe. Let's click and move these dots to control the direction of our gradient. Let's switch the white color, double click here. And let's switch it to blue. Yeah, something like this. Click OK. I will adjust it a bit further. Maybe let's darken it a bit. Yeah, I think something like this, it's nice. And the rest I will adjust from our color corrector node. So let's add a CC to our background. Let's crank the contrast even more. Yeah, I think something like this works fine. Maybe let's make it a bit wider. Yeah, this works fine. Now if you zoom in, you will see we have this color banding common effect. So easy way to fix it, to add a grain. Let's add a film grain. Let's drag and drop. I will leave it as default. I will just reduce it by a lot. I will make it really small, like 0.1. Let's watch before and after. It's almost invisible, but already you can see it's removed our color banding effect. Let's again view before and after. So now let's add overall color correction after our AOVs. I will add a bit more contrast. And to kill a bit of this highlight, let's go to our highlights and let's decrease our gain. Not too much because it will kill everything. Just enough. Maybe it's a bit too much, so let's go at 95. I think this works fine. Now let's go back to our editor and let's play. If you have a heavy compositing, probably it will not play it in real time. Let's test it. For example, let's add one of the heavy notes, like an exponential glow. Glow exponential. This is quite nice glow, but heavy to calculate. So now you can see it's barely playing real time. So how to cache it? To enable the cache, go to the playback, render cache, and enable smart or user. To be honest, I didn't feel big difference between those, so let's choose a smart for now. And if you don't do anything, and it will automatically cache our video. And once we play now, you can see it's playing real time. Our glow is too much. I will go ahead and reduce it. And when we come back, it will start caching again. So this is quite helpful if you have a heavy compositing. And good part about this, we can use this cache during the export. So if your composition is cached already and you export, it will read this cache instead of calculating again. I will show this once we export our video. Now let me show you what I promised about easy replacing our shots while keeping the same compositing network. So to test it, let's drag and drop our new render. Drag to our timeline. And we have very similar shot but from different camera. So let's go inside. Let's set our color space correctly. Disable our alpha. Now let's go back to our original composition. Now let's copy everything except our first beauty node. So Ctrl+C. Now let's go to our new shot. I will delete this output and paste everything here. Let's align. Let's connect our beauty to the rest. And if you check the AOVs now, you will see these AOVs are reading our new shot. So this is quite helpful. Basically, we have everything as we set up for other shot. I delete this exponential glow here, it's too much. So even if you do some changes to our AOVs, for example, in the next render you add few AOVs or reduce, as long as it's coming from the same file and it has the same naming, it will understand that it's the same render and the same project. So let's delete this second shot. I will go to our compositing and disable our exponential glow. This was just for a test. Let's wait it to cache again. So this is what we have. Now let's render this out. So let's go Let's go to the last frame and hit O to make sure we have our render region. Now to export, let's go to our delivery. In here, let's name it FX transition. Let's choose our file location. Let's change the format to MP4, codec H.264, and the quality we can leave it as best. And if you want to use this cache that we cached already, go to the advanced section, scroll down until you see use render cached images. Let's check this and add render to queue. So all we need to do is click render all, and you see it rendered under 1 second. Let's say if this 4-second shot took 30 minutes to cache, it would still take under a second to export since we already cached it. To find our media, right click and open file location. And we have our file here. So for today we had something different than Houdini tutorial. But I know many people thinking about transitioning into Resolve, so I hope this will be helpful for some of you. So keep creating, keep having fun, and see you next time.